Might there be a chance here to discover the treasure once and for all? Sure. There's all of these clues that strongly suggest this area holds significant interest.
Rick Lagina has finally found a breakthrough on mysteries of the infamous Oak Island. They just found something so bizarre that proves that gold is here on this island. Did they find a hidden chest that has a map to the actual treasure? Well, in this video, we are going to find that out. Craig Tester and Steve Guptill, along with Alex Lagina and the rest of the crew, are gathered to begin the latest large-scale excavation with the hope that they will uncover the second shaft, over 100 feet deep, and built in the early days of the 18th century, believed to be only a few feet southeast of the original money pit. To do this, they will be digging up the first ever searcher shaft on Oak Island. Their current goal is to obtain some pieces of the shaft and conduct dendrochronology on it, which will be able to tell them the year this wood was formed on a tree. According to Craig, if anything will be able to tie them back to the original money pit, it would be shaft 2. The tree rings they spot on the wood will tell them when it was cut down. If they can uncover and confirm the date to around 1805, they will not only be able to locate the original money pit, but also find the source of the precious metals they have detected in the area. They excavate a big piece of wood they believe could have belonged to one of the long walls. But the question remains, does this belong to shaft 2? According to Rick Lagina, the second shaft is like the Holy Grail in terms of significance. They are closer than ever to finding the money pit. The wood they pull out is rounded and thick, which Craig believes is the outside of the tree, and could be excellent for their testing. They take multiple samples of this wood when Marty Lagina arrives on site, and they decide to use a mirror to take a closer look at what's down there by reflecting light into the dark corners. Marty describes how incredible it is what people in the past were able to accomplish with their limited technology, but also how they need to think to find the money pit. Gary uses his metal detector and finds a signal in one of the scoops of dirt, pulling out a rosehead spike which remains in great condition, possibly from the 1700s. Between the 1780s and mid-1800s, rosehead spikes were created for construction. This could be another clue. They note a lot of boards in the dark pit, and they decide to try and take some of those beams off the walls. Rick notes the mix of older wood and how the second shaft was built in the early 1800s, likely a great match to that old wood. If they find a match between that wood and this time frame, they will have the first discovery shaft on Oak Island, an amazing accomplishment. The operator of the excavator is flying blind but being instructed by Scott as they carefully maneuver the excavator's bucket down this shaft and scrape it along the walls for wood samples. However, they face a setback when their first sample falls out of the bucket and splashes into the water below. This is a great challenge, but Billy the operator triumphs as he pulls out a massive beam of wood. Gary then goes to check if there is any metal in the wood by passing a detector over it. When there is no signal of metal, he determines this is a good sign as it suggests a very antiquated style of construction.
First ever searcher shaft on Oak Island.
True?
Well, we think. That we know of.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now they ask themselves if someone could have reconstructed the top part of shaft 2 after it was originally built in 1805. They may have found the evidence to find the original money pit. This area is a landmark for them. This operation has been an incredible success. Back at the Oak Island Research Center, Marty has met with a few people who will be involved in the well drilling, and to get on the same page as they move forward. Marty Lagina explains that he has been focused on the metals detected in the water. A few weeks back, some scientists had broken down the results of the testing they had conducted on the island and zeroed in on a yellow district which had persistently high levels of copper, lead, zinc, and tin. Their testing has them looking at a 2,500 square foot region known as the Pie. Dr. Michelle believes that what they are looking for is in the golden egg section they have. So Marty is determined that this is where they will be drilling all the wells to better evaluate the area. The next morning, the crew gathers to begin their testing and digging. While drilling in the golden egg, they have come across evidence that suggests a possible structure in the area at a depth of almost 100 feet. Mike from Choice Solid Drilling explains that the sample he pulled out is soft at the top, and we learn that there is no wood in the sample, but this is a good sign as it points to them getting close to something. Marty believes that if there is something there, they will find it in that hole. Peter suggests taking some tests of the water for metal testing, and they decide to ask Dr. Spooner to take a sample. Later that afternoon, Marty returns after he is told they have made progress in the EN13 borehole made in the golden egg. Just the other day, The crew believed they had almost hit a man-made structure as they drilled nearly 100 feet underground. The new sample under a yellow cone was measured against EN13, and what they found was something coming out of the well, like loud booms that went on for half a minute. The belief is that they may be drilling near something and air getting into it, the implication being something is open down there or collapsing. Dr. Spooner believes there must be a void. All of these clues point towards something happening in this area. Dr. Spooner holds up a sample of the water, which looks yellow in the sunlight. This darker water indicates they are close to a source of wood. This development has piqued the interest of Rick Lagena, especially if it means that an underground collapse is pointing to an open chamber. They believe that water has moved from a tunnel or shaft, and all of this information is vital to know where the traces of metal are coming from. They hope that their next drilling spot will reveal even more information. The next day, they discover another Roman coin which the team has connected to descendants of Vikings, which could be important for their discussions. The historian on Oak Island explains that the Norse had reached Iceland and Greenland before 1021 AD, and after that just a short ride away in Newfoundland, which is 600 miles northeast of Oak Island. For this reason, they are headed to that Viking settlement that was established more than a millennia ago and has been labeled by the Canadian government as a National Historic Site. Today, it is the only recognized Viking settlement in North America. According to Rick, the descendants of these Vikings are an important detail needed to understand how an old world treasure could have made its way to Oak Island.
Artifacts in the Viking Age.
Oh.
And fortunately, I have a replica here.
He believes that this history is vital for the ability of the person or people who came across the North Atlantic and do this work on Oak Island. Before their trip, they discuss bringing some of their findings like the old arrowhead along with them, as they believe they may have some connection to these Vikings and their descendants. The historian then mentions that the Viking settlement was only discovered in the 1960s, and this makes Marty laugh, as it means that there could be many more not yet discovered. The historian agrees and even believes this could mean the Vikings and Templars making their way further past Newfoundland and into Oak Island is very possible. They even have relics that point to that conclusion. Marty believes that if anything happened on Oak Island as far back as the 1200s, then it almost certainly has to be some kind of activity done by the Vikings and their descendants. Based on what they know currently, it almost has to lead to them, as very few people in that period knew about this island. It is very possible that they could have brought along the Knights Templar or any number of other people to the island with the intention of depositing something. This leads to the Laginas wanting to launch an expedition. After finding another coin on Lot 5, Alex is very excited about the crew going to L'Anse aux Meadows, or the Viking settlement on Newfoundland, and looking around while Alex remains back at the island. New insight and perspective is always important on their quest to uncover the secrets and treasures of Oak Island. Thank you so much for watching and liking this video. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family. Let us know in the comments what you think about Oak Island's many mysteries and treasures. Do you think they are getting closer to uncovering the truth of the island? If you love this content and never want to miss an update, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on.
Researchers discovered something incredible in the Oak Island money pit. Oak Island is a sequestered location off the south coast of Nova Scotia, and for generations, people have been fascinated by the island. Finally, researchers discovered something unbelievable in the Oak Island money pit. A large number of academics, scientists, and explorers are intrigued by the possibility of uncovering the mysteries buried beneath the island's surface. It may seem like an exciting adventure on a real-life treasure island, but bear in mind that many individuals have risked their entire fortunes in an attempt to make a fortune on this island. Some unfortunate individuals have even lost their lives in the process, only to have nothing to show for it in the end. The entrance of the Lagina brothers, who have joined the long list of treasure hunters attempting to solve the island's mysteries, has brought about a recent change in the status quo. The Lagina brothers are confident that they possess the skills necessary to locate the fabled treasure said to be buried on Oak Island, and ultimately, these researchers discovered something in the Oak Island money pit that you won't believe. Join us as we observe them as they investigate this 200-year-old enigma, and together we will determine if there is, in fact, hidden wealth on the island. Throughout the course of their expedition, they stumble upon some astounding discoveries that will astound you. The Lagina brothers have devoted a substantial portion of their careers to locating buried wealth, It is understandable why anyone would be captivated by the prospect of unearthing centuries-old treasure buried by someone in the past. Unfortunately, similar to a large number of other visitors to the island, the brothers initially encountered difficulties and failed in their endeavors. Rick and Marty were fortunate in that their treasure hunting efforts did not go unnoticed. The A&E network became aware of the brothers' work, and recognizing the potential for a compelling series about treasure hunters investigating Oak Island, decided to collaborate with them on a series titled The Curse of Oak Island. It's quite eerie, wouldn't you say? Thanks to their cooperation with the television network, the brothers were able to recover the funds that they had previously spent on their travels to the island. Their research activities attained an entirely new level after receiving financial support from the network and other investors. It is essential to note, however, that despite the influx of wealth, the Lagena brothers and their new investors did not make any noteworthy discoveries during the first 2 seasons of their program. This is something that must be recognized. Despite this, they demonstrated an admirable amount of patience, which is commendable because, as the saying goes, patience is a virtue. After 3 seasons of searching, the explorers on Oak Island finally made significant discoveries that aroused their curiosity. The discovery of a ceremonial Roman sword suggested that Roman soldiers may have visited Oak Island before Christopher Columbus. This major accomplishment opened a floodgate of opportunities for the crew, and as they diligently combed the island for riches, they discovered a wide variety of artifacts and antiquities. A handcrafted replica of a map of France was one of their discoveries, which aroused their interest in the artifact. In order to conduct the analysis, they enlisted the assistance of historian and maritime expert Zena Halpern. After determining that the map was created in 1647, Halpern theorized that the resources it indicated may have originated in Africa. During the course of their investigation, the Lagena brothers and the rest of their crew discovered fragments of a book, which further investigation revealed to be a bookbinder. After making this discovery, the brothers began to contemplate the possibility that they had not yet discovered additional buried manuscripts on the island. A fragment of parchment made from animal skin was yet another fascinating artifact discovered. William Chappell and Frederick Blair, explorers of Oak Island, have been hypothesized to be involved. In the 15th century, when the document was created, only the wealthy could afford to dispatch mail. In addition, the explorers discovered a number of gold coins near a pit that became known as the Money Pit. This location sparked the island's obsession with treasure that has persisted for the past 2 centuries. Unfortunately, a recurring issue with flooding halted Chappell and Blair's treasure hunting expedition when the Money Pit became submerged in water, preventing them from making any further progress. After Chappell and Blair led the way, many others attempted to find treasure.
Yes, some insiders just got leaked from Oak Island Season 12, and believe me, there are some crazy news that you need to hear. Oak Island, a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia, has been a captivating and mysterious place for many treasure hunters and adventurers since its 1965 Reader's Digest article. The article revealed the island's buried treasure, elaborate traps, and cryptic clues, which have since become one of the world's most famous mysteries. The real thrill of Oak Island lies in the details, stories of intricate booby traps, complex tunnels, and engineering that seem way beyond the time they were built. Each detail is like a breadcrumb, leading believers deeper into the mystery. Since the Reader's Digest article hit, people from all walks of life have descended upon Oak Island, from curious locals to full-blown treasure hunters with big dreams. Many of them arrived with their own theories, ideas of what lay beneath the island, and techniques for unlocking its secrets. They dug tunnels, conducted elaborate digs, and even drained entire areas of water, all for a chance to find that elusive treasure. But the mystery wasn't as simple as just digging up some dirt. In fact, many who tried faced serious dangers, such as the booby traps, sudden flooding tunnels, and shifting sands. The heart of the Oak Island mystery is not just the rumors of treasure, it's the unanswered questions. Who buried something here? Why did they go to such lengths to hide it? And perhaps most mysteriously, how did they pull it off? The island is a puzzle, one that has teased, taunted, and puzzled treasure hunters for decades. The dedication needed to design something so intricate that it still holds up centuries later. The tunnels alone are a marvel. Some believe these were dug by pirates, hiding their plunder. Others claim it's the work of the Knights Templar, stashing away priceless artifacts and religious treasures. Or even the work of early explorers who were keen on safeguarding their findings. Each theory adds another layer to Oak Island's allure, and Tales from Oak Island pulls you into each one, analyzing the historical clues, legends, and evidence left behind. The question of why Oak Island was chosen becomes even more fascinating. Why a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia? Was there something special about this place that made it the perfect hiding spot? Tales from Oak Island doesn't just brush over these questions, it digs deep, drawing on history, archaeology, and storytelling to keep viewers hooked. Oak Island is a mysterious island that has transformed lives, turning everyday people into lifelong treasure hunters. The series explores the engineering marvel behind the island's design, including intricate traps, complex tunnels, and mechanisms designed to keep intruders out. The Money Pit is one of the most infamous parts of the island's lore, discovered back in the 1700s. It has kept treasure hunters puzzled and frustrated for centuries, with layers of logs, rocks, and strange substances, almost like a giant onion with layer after layer of protection. Some argue it's proof of the treasure hidden below, while others argue it's a deliberate puzzle, warning would-be seekers that they're messing with something they don't fully understand. Tales from Oak Island explores the most popular and some of the most outlandish theories about who hid what on the island. One of the most lasting theories is that the treasure belongs to pirates, possibly even the infamous Captain Kidd. The idea of hidden pirate loot buried in elaborate traps is a classic, and it's hard not to get swept up in the romance of it all. Other theories go far beyond pirate gold, suggesting that the island hides priceless religious artifacts, perhaps even relics from the Holy Land brought over by the Knights Templar. The show explores each theory with historical context, archaeological evidence, and expert insights, pulling viewers down the rabbit hole as each theory builds on the last.
You stack boulders because it's much harder to get boulders out of a hole than it is to get them in the hole.
The show introduces us to the modern-day treasure hunters who have devoted themselves to the island's secrets. They aren't just historians or researchers. They're adventurers, people ready to dig, dive, and analyze every inch of Oak Island. Each of these treasure hunters brings their own skills, theories, and determination to the table. Some are engineers, looking to unlock the mechanics of the island's traps. Others are historians, trying to piece together a timeline that makes sense of all the rumors and legends. And some are locals who grew up with the stories and feel a deep, almost personal connection to the island's mystery. For every small victory, there are setbacks. Excavation equipment gets stuck, tunnels collapse, and new discoveries lead to more questions. Yet, they keep going, driven by a passion that's hard to explain but impossible to ignore. The series captures the thrill and frustration, the highs and lows of these hunters' journeys, making viewers feel like they're right there beside them, digging and dreaming. With each passing generation, Oak Island attracts a new group of seekers, all drawn to the possibility that they might be the ones to solve the mystery once and for all. The allure of Oak Island's treasure is undeniable, but the risks associated with the hunt are equally real. Over the years, numerous treasure hunters have faced serious accidents and even loss of life in pursuit of what lies beneath the island. One of the biggest challenges is flooding, as Oak Island's underground tunnels are infamous for filling with water as soon as they are disturbed, seemingly from a hidden reservoir connected to the ocean. This makes each descent into Oak Island's depths carries significant risk. Tales from Oak Island emphasizes the reality that Oak Island is not just a mystery, it's a formidable adversary. It's almost as if the island itself is protecting its secrets, making sure that only the most determined and skilled individuals have any chance of succeeding. Watching the series, you can't help but feel